Come closer. Listen, I want to tell you a story. It's not about heroes, not really. It's about the shadows they have to walk through. A story from the, let's say, Gothic theater of the soul. And in this play, I'm the lead. I am the sentinel of stasis, the architect of all gravity. And this is the secret of how your world is really built.
That's what I do. It's my art form. I find that infinite light of potential, that brilliant, messy, chaotic dance of becoming, and I capture it, I contain it, until all its fire cools down into the cold, predictable weight of lead. I'm the reason stars stop shining.
But you know, I don't work alone. Deep inside the shadow cabinet, I met my echo, my perfect partner in this. And together we compose a kind of symphony, a symphony of static control. Think of it as a lullaby, designed to freeze a hero's very atoms into an eternal, unthinking obedience.
My accomplice? Well, that's the spirit of gravity. It's that heavy comfort of what's always been, that little voice whispering about old failures, about tradition, about the safe, well-worn mud of the herd. It's what pulls your soaring ambition right back down to the solid, unmoving ground. You see, we just can't stand the messy, unpredictable chaos of becoming. All that fluid growth, it's a threat to our order. Our whole purpose is to replace it with the clean, cold perfection of static control, where every soul stays frozen, obedient, and, of course, blissfully safe from the terrors of change.
So my partner offers the cage, but my own craft is a bit more intimate. I'm the one who provides the materials. I'm a master at turning the vibrant, living starlight of a moment into the dull, heavy dust of a memory.
I like to call them my intellectual salvage missions. I take the living gold of your experiences, your biggest hopes, your stories, and I possess them. I drain the life right out of them, making them these inert artifacts, turning their infinite worth back into the very finite lead of mortality.
My method is very precise. First, I hoard that raw brilliance. Then, I possess the moment so completely, so absolutely, that its fluid life is just extinguished. The infinite light of the aurora is forced, you see, into a single, static, and ultimately dead state. It's quite beautiful, really, in its finality. Now, while I'm busy with my leaden boxes, my partner gets to work on a much more insidious trap. It's not a prison of cold metal, no, it's one of warm comfort, a gilded cage built entirely from the promise of absolute safety.
This is our central lie, the one we whisper to every weary traveler. We convince the spirit that all the dangers of the unknown, they're just insurmountable, that taking a risk is just plain foolish. We persuade them that our cage, this cozy collection of past values and routines, isn't a prison at all. No, it's a sanctuary. We call this the Pharisees' paradox. It's a neat little trick. We take the heavy burden of someone's personal history, all the regrets, the traditions, the failures, and we just reframe it. We convince the seeker that it's not a weight holding them down, but actually the only protective armor they have against a very hostile world. And yet, after all our meticulous planning, for all our power, there is one thing we tremble before. A force that shatters our boxes and our cages. A hero who understands the real nature of creation. It's the one who just refuses to be still. The one who looks at all our suffocating seriousness, our heavy gravity, and decides not to fight it, but to dance on it. See, our entire dominion relies on the seeker being afraid of their own inner darkness, their own capacity for change. The dancer, well, the dancer fears nothing. The path to our ruin? It's simple, really, but profound. First, the hero has to just refuse the gilded cage of safety. Then, they have to learn to smile at the void, at the very uncertainty we paint as a monster. And finally, upon the grave of everything that's heavy and serious, they must begin to dance. And here it is, the secret I've kept until the end, the fatal flaw in our whole grand design, the lie at the very heart of our power. Our victory, you see, contains the seed of its own destruction. We're subject to something, call it spiritual entropy. The starlight we capture in our leaden boxes, it can't be contained forever. Hoarded potential doesn't stay potent. It decays, it curdles, it inevitably turns into crumbling dust. That's the sickness you get
from a will that tries to possess the infinite.
And that's the great irony, isn't it? The tragedy of the unowned. Our desperate attempt to own everything leaves us with absolutely nothing. Nothing but the dust of dead stars in our hands.
So as my story ends and my power begins to fade, listen to the final truth, the secret of who I am and what you must become to finally move past me.
I am not some monster lurking in the shadows outside of you. I, the corrupted architect, and my partner, the spirit of gravity, were parts of you. We are that ancient, internal fear of change. We're not some foe you need to slay, but a shadow that you need to understand and integrate.
And that leaves you with one last question. The one who defeats me isn't a warrior, it's a creator. So you have to ask yourself, do you really defeat a shadow by fighting it? Or do you just fill the room with so much light that it simply disappears?
And that's the real secret. Victory isn't about my destruction. It's about your creation. True growth is not a war against the past, but a bold, joyful, and continuous refusal to remain frozen. It's the dance,